life and death. Life and death.
What up, everybody? Welcome to the Laugh and Death podcast. It's hosted by me, your boy, Fernie. We got Alex in the building.
What up?
And David in the other building because we're in different buildings because it's COVID, whatever. Anyways, thank you guys for listening and being with us here. Make sure to hit up the Instagram at Laugh and Death Podcast, the YouTube at Laugh and Death Podcast, and listen to us wherever you listen to your podcast. If you listen to us already, then you already know where to find us. So I don't know why I have to give you that introduction. David, you were talking about, wanting to talk about things that you find funny. And you said you had like a top 5 things or?
Top 4.
Top 4?
Top 5. Yeah, I have top 5, yeah.
Well, give us your list.
So, first of all, I have to start off by saying, fuck you, Alex, for not telling me this sooner. I had to discover this on my own. Obviously, we had talked a few weeks back or a couple months back about the show Dave on FX and how we were really into it and we were super excited about it or whatever. Well, like a couple weeks ago, I was talking to Alex and he was talking about the whole Kareem Abdul-Jabbar episode. And I was like, okay, well, I had just finished another series. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to start Dave all over again. So I started watching season 2 right from the jump. And the third episode has the funniest fucking thing I've ever witnessed ever in anything. Like any source of media or anything. That's the most I've ever laughed ever in that introduction of the episode. And the whole episode just keeps getting better and better and better. Alex, do you know what episode I'm talking about?
Yes.
So it's the one with Benny Blanco, who's like a music producer, who's also super raunchy and hangs out with Justin Bieber on the regular, is friends with all these freaking celebrities, but he's scary looking. How am I exaggerating, Alex? He's pretty scary.
Fucking Benny Blanco?
Yeah.
I mean, maybe to you. I know you've expressed that you don't like his face and shit.
I mean, I would. Yeah, he's I don't know. He's offensively. Yeah, you know how I am. I started watching season 2 and I got into that episode and it starts off very homoerotic, like subtle, and then it just gets progressively worse and worse, or not worse, but funnier and funnier, and they keep pushing the boundaries, and I could not help but die of laughter. I watched that intro 3 or 4 times, and I can't express enough how weird it made me feel to watch that. And I could not believe that they actually went to the extent that they did to just for comedy. And it gave me kind of it starts off kind of in Step Brothers, where they're like, did we just become best friends? Yep. Right. And they start doing shit together. They go pee in the same toilet and they go measure each other's dicks and
childish.
Stuff. Yeah, super childish, but it keeps getting worse and worse, and it was the funniest 4 minutes of my life. And I just started thinking man, this show has moved a lot of things down as far as my top 5 funny things in the world. And funny enough, number 2, so that has to be number 1, hands down, the funniest fucking thing ever. I don't want to spoil it for anybody in case anybody wants to watch it. If you have a Hulu subscription or whatever, please check it out. And please don't watch it around kids, for the love of God. The second funniest thing that I've ever seen in my entire life is also from Dave, but it's from episode 5 or 6 from season 1. It involves a table, a hole, and a garage door, and that's all I'll say. It's fucking hilarious. Died of laughter. Thought that was the funniest fucking thing ever. Number 3 for me is the cold open for The Office, the fire drill. That is a masterpiece all in its own, but that is not as funny as these first 2 things. And I thought for years, since watching Zombieland in person, in the movie theater, I had never seen a funnier movie, but freaking Bill Murray in Zombieland has to be up there with one of the funniest fucking moments
fucking awesome
in cinema history, dude. I died, and I saw Zombieland twice just to go see that segment apart again. And then when the day that the movie came out on DVD, I went and I bought it like day one, bought a box of Twinkies, watched it through, and I was like, I showed my mom. I called everybody to the living room, like, you all have to see this. This is like the funniest thing. And that was fucking hilarious. And like number 5 is like a scene in fucking American Pie Part 2. You know how I've told you how I get like really cringy when I see, not cringy, but like I think it's super funny when two like guys kiss, that I get giggly, and I think it's so like taboo to me, and it's like weird that I can't help but giggle. So like in fucking American Pie, like when Stifler and Jason Biggs' character have to like kiss in front of the girls, that is, dude, it makes me laugh so hard. And it's like the same shit like in fucking The Office, like when Michael has to like he kisses Oscar just to
Oh
prove that
yeah,
he's
yeah.
not.
Trying.
Is that homophobic?
Yeah, he's a homophobic, and like that just makes me like so. I don't know, man. It makes me so.
It gives you butterflies in your stomach.
No, not that. It's just... no, it's just like I don't know. Like that is like the funniest type of comedy, and I was just really upset when I found out that like Alex had already seen this and not told me about it. So I just want to bring that up. Is there anything in like cinema or anything that you all feel that is comparable, or what's funny to you? Like anything that stands out to you?
I think when they do like anticlimactic stuff. I mean, I'm not thinking of a certain example right now, but like when they're looking for something and then they're just like looking around all over the place, and then they're like, "Huh, I wonder what it is," and it's in their hand the whole time. For some
Oh
reason,
yeah, yeah.
that's just a simple little thing makes me laugh so hard. I've been watching Taskmaster on YouTube. It's like a UK show, like a game show for comedians, and they get like an envelope in the task, and they have to do like whatever the task is, like find the tangerine in this pail of oranges, but it's in the dark or whatever. But there's like certain ways that they can improve their chances of winning. Like one, there was like they go into a room and there's glow in the dark paint, and the whole thing is like you have to make a rainbow with the paints, but you can't see what color there is.
Uh-huh.
And then all they had to do was like turn around and look at the light switch and turn it on, and then like draw the rainbow, like because they can see now. Just stuff like that, like I don't know, I don't know how to explain it, but it's a simple
I know what you mean.
little thing.
Like physical comedy, does that do anything for you? Like watching people wipe out, or like American Ninja Warrior when they're like,
I mean, sometimes it has to be like really comedic, like over the top. And Ninja Warrior and like Wipeout, that's more like athleticism for me. So it's not like a comedic, like, oh shit, they fell down, ha ha ha. It's more like,
It's like
fuck,
a
they fell
sound
down.
effect. You know, that shit
Boing.
like that. You know,
Dude, I love the fucking Japanese Ninja Warrior, the
Yeah,
original
yeah.
one on Spike TV. When Spike TV was really big, no, G4. It was on G4. When G4 was really big, they would show it like at 2 a.m. It was fucking amazing.
Hell yeah, right after Cops. Yeah.
Yeah,
like MXC, that shit was fire.
yeah. Alex, what you gonna say?
I was gonna say that. What the fuck was I? Oh yeah, the shit that makes me laugh is like that makes me laugh. Oh no. So you said physical comedy, and legit, dude, just because like my dad showed me this shit, but like I can still watch it and fucking laugh is legit the Three Stooges, dude. I fucking love that shit, dude. Like the timing of all that shit, like the timing and planning of all the different stunts, and like it's just funny to me. And even then, like they had very dry, like they'll make signs or whatever, and like it'll be like, oh, hat store, or like, and it'll be like a sign that's like, oh, ironically, or not. It's so like it's naive comedy. It's kind of like funny, you know. And that's the shit that shit makes me laugh. But I don't know, all kinds of things make me laugh. I like dark humor. I like, you guys know what kind of humor I have. Like it's very dark, and it's very just like self-deprecating in some sense, but I can't really like pinpoint shit.
And I know we always come back to TikTok, but like even Vine, like those small little like cursed memes or whatever, those videos just kind of like ruined my sense of humor. Like it's like somebody picking up a banana. It's like, I'm gonna call 911. And it's like, 911, how can I help you? But they're talking into a banana. I don't know if you've seen that video, or like they just do like some random ass. They do like a little face, and you're like, oh shit, that's funny. Like, why is it funny? I don't know. It just ruined my sense of humor.
You know what's really like made me feel like I'm not funny at all is the freaking comment section on some TikToks. Like you go in there and like, dude, there are some people that are ruthless, and like they have like freaking 30,000 likes and stuff like that. Like
Hmm.
Like, oh man, just like the like gnarliest shit ever. Like, it's horrible. And like I envy like Alex and his like real life friends out there. Like his clique, they're so fucking funny. Like I look forward to talking to Alex like every morning and just be like, so what'd y'all do? And he's always got like these little shenanigans and hijinks, and like just hearing him explain it, like he's laughing already, like telling me about the dumb shit that they do. It's all inside jokes, and I feel like I'm a part of it.
If you could be like the fly on the wall in the actual thing, like it's the type of thing that, like, in memes, the meme of like when girls hang out together, like, oh girl, I love you so much, and then when their friend leaves, they're like, she's such a fucking bitch, she's such a slut, right? And like us and the guys, it's like, that meme, right? The guys, it's like in person, we're like, man, fuck you, you piece of shit, and then we split up and we're like, man, that guy's such a good fucking guy. It was like it's literally that. Like if you were flying on the wall during our hanging out and shit, like I'm a fucking, like, how abrasive I can be. Like I'm a fucking dickhead, dude. Like I keep pushing and pushing and pushing, and don't apologize to them. And then like after the fact, I'm over here showing David like, dude, check this out, laughing and shit. Like I just had a beautiful time, But like I've just been roasting them, and they've been roasting me, back and forth.
But even then, after, like, when you show me stuff, like, it's you roasting them still.
Yeah.
But I can reminisce and like
Yeah,
if they've been
like,
like if they've been off to war like for years, and you're like, yeah, I remember this one time he did this, and like look at this picture of his shit, and it's like, oh. And then that meme that picture use of Eddie Skunks like bending over. Is it Eddie Skunks
dude,
bending
yeah,
over, just
yeah.
taking a picture
Dude,
for everything.
oh man, dude. I legit like had to tell you, like I'd send him a voice message the other day because I was working at Coach and I was leaving home, and then I was just like, man, dude, I fucking miss you guys. Like I fucking like all the chats just building up, right, with all the shit they say, and I'm just like, can't read it because I'm at work. And I read it all, I'm just like, oh, I fucking love this, like I'm just like bursting out with happiness that I'm a part of that crew.
Alex, would you say that you're like the most aggressive when it comes to like insulting somebody else in your little clique?
Oh, definitely. Yeah, I'm definitely like the fucking most verbally aggressive, I think.
Who would you say is second?
Second might be, I think me and Leo are probably like pretty up there, but I tend to be more like consistent and like wanting to poke and prick and pry, and then Leo maybe, and then Eddie's more like just stupid. Like it's just like the humor. He's done so much like trying to make people laugh that now it's just it doesn't go anywhere. It's just like, he rhymes like stick with shit, or something. Like it's like really dumb. It's like, but it's funny though because he just sits in it and basks in the horrible pause, And then Ben's more of the witness, but he's also a part of it, but he's more of the witness, and like he's really smart with like the way he fucking talks shit though.
Like he'll be saying something, and you're like, oh yeah, that's really nice. Wait a minute, what the fuck did you just say? It's like
shit.
that. It's like a backhanded compliment, but
Yeah,
really pretty.
yeah, definitely, man. Those guys, fuck. We about to chill tonight, hopefully.
So I've been thinking about like we said about the Three Stooges and stuff, and I remember being younger and my favorite TV show, cartoon show, being like Tom and Jerry, and then the Powerpuff Girls, and then like Teen Titans, and there was a lot of violence for fucking like it was comedy because it was a kids show, it was a cartoon show, but it was all violent and shit. I'm just realizing that right now. Like I don't know, like
Punching
violence.
people, knocking them out and shit.
Yeah, but they make a little joke like and
To
also
save it.
like also the Power Rangers movie when they're like it's like fighting Ooze, like Dr. Ooze or Mr. Ooze, whatever the fuck his name is.
Ivan News.
Ivan Ooze. They're fighting the little monsters or the little minions that they have, and they're just making puns as they're fighting, and it's like, oh yeah, that's funny, but throwing punches and like fucking karate chopping these bitches. I don't know. Our media is so violent sometimes, and we just like take it for granted. But as soon as somebody takes out a titty, you're like, whoa, 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 that's too much.
I mean, I'm not like whoa, 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 whoa. Whoa.
I mean, I brought it up earlier. I don't know if you want to talk about it again, Alex, but like, do you feel like media has been over? And then this is maybe we can transition into Alex's topic, but like, do you feel like media is like overly sexualized now? Because like the shit that they get away with on FX or and it's just like it's super risque. Like it's not. This is shit they don't even show on HBO, and like they show like flayed people on HBO, and like I don't know, man. I just feel like maybe it's my age because I was telling Alex like am I just too sensitive now? Because like back in the day, I guess in the '90s, like when like Baby Got Back came out, like people were like, "Oh my god, this is disgusting music," and now I guess like now this generation's like equivalent is like WAP, and
Yeah.
I just feel like it's just overly sexualized, and it's just like, but it's like cool. Like Alex was like, "No, man, it's fine. Like it's cool. It's art. It's this," and I'm like, I don't know, man. I feel like it's just like a step back, but maybe that's just me getting too old.
What I was saying was, I didn't even say that it was art. I said what I said was that not only do we now have more mediums to get all this information and how stronger advertisements are in our faces through these platforms and shit, we just are able to see these things more often. And yes, it might be on TV, but if you're speaking about like it being over sexualized, would it be over sexualized to the youth? Because the youth wouldn't even be watching on TV; they'd be watching everything on social media platforms. And I think there's just that those different mediums to watch all these things. Because like even back then, everything was like there was always sexual things. I was telling like even like Kiss in the '70s. It was satanic, it was sexual, like and it was like it fucking was like the stories they have about their entourages and like their groupies and shit being with them. Like I think there's always gonna be two sides to everything. Like how there isn't anything. Like there's gonna be the people who accept it and support it, and then the people who think that it's not right for the overall viewer humanity. But it's like everybody has different perspectives.
I feel like and I tell you all, like I feel like I'm very progressive, and I want like equality, and I want a lot of other things to be like readily available for people, like to express themselves and stuff like that. But I don't know. I guess I have like a threshold, or like like my own like I'm conservative in some ways, I guess, and I just feel like it's a little too much for what's online, and I feel like you said, like people are like the youth is like on they're on their iPads and their iPhones and all that stuff, like constantly scrolling through like Twitter and all that stuff, and all that stuff's out there, like there's unless you're like got filters and stuff and you got your stuff like parentally secured,
Right.
like it's accessible, and it's just I don't know if it's okay. Well, I know I'm like it's contradicting like me being progressive or whatever, but like I don't know. It's just it really like confuses me because I feel like I am maybe my perspective is because I am getting too old, and I'm too, oh no, that's disgusting. We shouldn't be doing that, or we shouldn't allow that, or and it's just I don't know. I feel
It's just to me. I'm sorry, Fernie. I know you probably want to have some input. I just want to say one last thing. Is like to me, it's like when did this when did this start becoming important for us? Like, and I think it is with age, like, were you thinking about these things, 10 years ago, fucking 5 years ago? You know what I mean? Like, were you feeling this way of like, this isn't right, or not that it's not right, but it's just like, it's too much. Like I legit do feel like it comes with age. Like, when do you have the time to actually think about these things and like feel that it's like, too much or wrong, or, you know what I mean? Like as we grow into that, we've like it could be like just that new fucking thought pattern, that new stream of fucking consciousness coming in of like we're just seeing the world differently, and we want to see the world the way we think is right. If something rubs us wrong,
I'll admit, like when I was a kid, like I was a shithead, and I would play like My Neck My Back, like Lick It by Kai, whatever the hell her name, like Lick My Pussy and my I'd play it like super loud in the house, and just to see my parents cringe, and like back on like LimeWire
that's
days.
literally like WAP of like the early 2000s, literally.
Exactly. And so like I feel like I'm a giant hypocrite, but like now I feel like okay, that was that now this whole WAP stuff is like this is the devil's music.
I I think it comes with the perspective of like you being a kid and not knowing exactly what all that meant. Like yes, it's like oh, you like your pussy and crack. Like you that's kind of self descriptive, right? So you kind of have an idea, but if you never done any sexual things, it's just like oh that's
Right.
funny. It's not like oh that's a sexual like intimate thing. So now that you're listening to these lyrics when you're older, it does invoke those sexual intimate feelings that you've had when doing those type of things, or like those things being described gives you that emotion. So I don't know. I really don't know. Like, I'm not a parent, so I'm not worried about like my kids finding stuff. Like Abigail, she watches YouTube on TV and her tablet, and like it's YouTube Kids and like filters and all this stuff, because we've taken the initiative to not shield her from that, but like I hate when parents complain like, how am I supposed to explain this to my kids? It's like, well, you should explain it to your kids regardless if it worries you too much. You have that advantage because you're their parent. Like, you are the one that's supposed to teach them from right from wrong, like depending on what the situation is. And it's like, you're not gonna just pop your kid out with an iPad and like let him explore the internet, because the internet is full of shit that you don't want them to see. So why give them that access to begin with, without having like a mediator or something to protect them from what you think is offensive?
I'm just saying, nobody taught me shit when I was a kid, and I watch porn every day now. So what's up? No, I'm just kidding.
I'm functional.
Yeah, like I feel like, like that song, yes, you're a kid as well, and you don't necessarily know the power of those words and what they might actually mean. You know what I mean? So you might you know, and you're also growing and exploring different sides of life and like, sexuality and all these things. And I don't want to say it's just from aging and just getting old. I think we're just inserting ourselves into the idea that like who else might be receiving these messages and information, like what's the audience receiving, and like maybe that brings some worry or something. I don't think it ultimately, because there's a bunch of older people who are supporters of these things, and which is fine. You know what I mean? Like I think there's cake for everybody. Like there's some cake for everybody, and like everybody can have a piece. And if it's not your cake, then don't get none. You don't have to get none. You know what I mean? But I also don't think like, I wouldn't say like don't make that cake. You know what I mean? Like I fucking like red velvet. It's good.
I mean, it's because like social media puts it at the forefront. So like, it's just like, before it was like, okay, like what you did in your own privacy was your own thing, and then like that's why I guess that it's so like when it comes out to like the mainstream, it's just like Jesus Christ, like tone it down a little bit. To me, maybe I'm just naive.
I mean, it's not comparable, but like I hate when I see like kid pictures. Like, I don't want to see your fucking kid. I'm like, get the fuck out of my timeline. So I just unfollow those people, and if they're being like, "Hey, pussy out in Maine," then I don't know, like maybe unfollow those people.
It's like the thing that I want to say here is like, it's like that I don't even know the name of the song, dude, with Lil Nas X,
Industry
the one
baby.
that he dropped. Yeah, where he's like, is that the one with like Satan, or is that the one before that?
That's the one before. That's like "Call Me by Your Name." No, whatever.
Damn.
Where he's like giving Satan like a lap dance, right?
Yeah.
Like that's fucking funny. Like that's funny. Like me, and like I mean, dude, I haven't even seen the whole music video. I haven't listened to the whole song, and I've just known it from social media. You know what I mean? And like, I wouldn't say it's something that I love, but I'm also not like, dude, this is a fucking like, dude, that's an insane visual. Like a
Yeah.
man giving a fucking figure in like religion that's evil, like giving him a lap dance, like that's insane, dude. It's literally fucking insane to me. But it's like, I'm not over here like, and I'm not saying you're doing this, David. I'm just saying like, I'm also not like with a fucking sign like, this man needs to fucking stop. Like, nah, man, like I feel like whatever conspiracy there might be that like whatever, he's part of the fucking system and shit to make it like famous. But he started like everybody else. Like he dropped stuff on TikTok, and like just a random kid just making some
Yeah.
shit that'll just, let's see what the fuck happens. And like that shit's fucking cool. And then he's able to have all this insane production to make a ridiculously shocking visual like that, which is just garnering more attention. And like he's just winning.
And the reason he made that video, I think he said like in an interview that like it was to like challenge the like the religion itself, like because he was gay since the beginning. So like him growing up, he'd always heard like, oh, you're going like gay people are going to hell, and I guess I don't know if he was open before like he got famous, and then like once he got famous, he had to like kind of tone it back, and then he was just like, fuck, I'm just gonna do whatever the fuck I want. But I think he said that that he did that whole visual because all his life he's been hearing that he's gonna go to hell for being gay, so might as well just fucking have fun with it. I guess it pushed him to like be that big like fuck you to the religious, like,
Yeah.
oh, no, this is horrible when you're just living your life to begin with.
Who did Web? Is that Megan Stallion? Megan Thee Stallion?
I
Yeah.
think she was featured on it. I'm pretty sure it's a Cardi B track.
Oh yeah, you're right. It is Cardi B. Okay, now because I was gonna say like another person who would be like Megan Thee Stallion. Like people say like she's over sexualized and like all this stuff, but like before the music, wasn't she like a stripper, like entertainment dancer and shit?
Yeah,
pole
so was
dancer?
Cardi
Cardi
B.
B.
It's like dude, they've been these people all their life. Not all their life, but even before being in stardom and famous in front of millions. You know what I mean? Like
Mm-hmm.
they were always this. Now it's just like they have this platform and they get to express themselves this way. You know what I mean? Like it's like that same type. Like I don't know. Like these people. It's not like these people just one day got fucking famous and then that's their first mission on their agenda. It's like that was their interest and their culture. You know what I mean? That they're into like before the fucking money. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But okay, so if you had a daughter, would you let her idolize Megan Thee Stallion?
I can't. Dude, if I can't force my daughter to want to love the things that I love. If she gravitates towards something, like it's the same way like you think my fucking mom and dad like moved over here from Mexico to fuck just for me to spend fucking all my life skateboarding in like these dirty ass streets, and like do you think they were completely proud of me? You know what I mean? Like they can't. But the thing is, they were there for me to support me in the things that I was interested in. You know what I mean? And that's the only thing I could ever like want to do for if I ever had like offspring and shit is like be there for them if that's something they're interested in, like go for it. Like I can't stop you. I would just hate. It's like the I think the wrongest thing to do is to try to stray a young one's like perspective to match your own, or to say that you're right and they're wrong, because then they're just gonna want to do it even more, and like it just
Yeah.
causes more. It just causes more pushback. I'd rather them just naturally like. And if something needs guiding, then I'd be there. I'll be there for it. You know what I mean? Like, I really think it gets too far. Like, like something like drugs, I think is like something that that would be like, okay, like let's figure it out. Mainly because I've also been there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and it's something, I think it's something about safety also. Like I'm not saying like you should let them do drugs in your house because you're there and like you can monitor them, but like maybe just even giving them a talk about like, hey, these are the consequences of doing drugs, or having drugs on you and being stopped by cops, or whatever the thing may be. And I'm not
Right.
saying like you should allow them to do like things like drugs or like be like hypersexual at a young age or anything, but it all comes with like giving them the intelligence to make decisions by themselves, and like helping them come to the quote unquote correct one where they are going to be safe.
Right. Like how many times have you switched interests in your life? You know what I mean? Like depending on what age they might be, right? Getting into something like they're just gonna hop on. It's natural just to hop onto something else that attracts their attention. Like I wouldn't expect. I mean, I'll give the benefit of the doubt, right? But sometimes they might gravitate to something very strongly, right? But things come and go. Like I know that interests come and go, and I would just like to be relevant within their experience with it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like have them approach me with like, what do you think? I wouldn't want to step my foot in front of their path and be like, don't fucking know. Like I'd rather
Yeah.
like, well, this is how it looks. Like this is how I see it. Like this is what could happen, and you can be the one to take action on what you need to do. I think that's just me.
Yeah, and I think also like doing that would give them the confidence to trust in your like advice or your words, rather than just like, well, she said that or he said that, so I'm gonna do the opposite. Like you were saying earlier, Alex, like it's gonna push them to do more than they would have done because dad didn't like this, so I'm gonna keep doing it. Like I've
Yeah.
met so many pastor girls, like they get a little wild because their family's always
It's
like,
like,
no, no,
yeah.
no.
no, this is wrong, this is bad, and they want the taste of the bad, like, oh, how bad is
Yeah,
it?
that stereotype is correct.
It's also easier said than done, so that's
Yeah.
that's another thing. We don't actually have children.
I know. Yeah.
I know. I'm just like, okay, like right now y'all are what, 29 and 27? Like with age comes, I don't know. Eventually y'all will be at my age and then you'll be like, okay, like maybe with a little bit more wisdom, you might be like, okay, I'm not saying that I'm wise or anything like that. I'm just saying like had I known the shit that I know now, like then I would have changed my life. And so like you all have the opportunity to like help guide or help fix people's decisions, but in the end, like everybody's gonna do whatever the fuck they want, and it's just
Yeah, this is where I was saying, like, with aging, and I'm not even saying just getting old. I'm saying as time moves on, goes back to the thing of like the interest that you move on to. You know, like you do have a specific interest in something now. You detach yourself from things, people, environments that might not help you get to this specific position for this thing that you're interested in. So you start to block out specific information, or you start to take in different variables of different things, which can influence your perspective on what you might think might be right, and which is fine, you know. So I can only imagine fucking 8 years from now or 10 years from now, right when I'm 37, like who knows what the fuck I would be into, you know? Maybe I'd just be homeless, and like, you know. But I don't know what I'm gonna be interested in, and
I mean, for the most part, like I've been the same person since I was like 20 years old, honestly. Same interests, same that I'm pretty much the same person I was then. And same mindset I feel like I've always been I don't know, I've always had that type of like progressive mindset, so I don't know how you all skew, but it's just I don't know. I feel like with age I'm getting a little bit more conservative and it's starting to scare me.
I guess it goes back to we can go into what I was like hoping to talk about, which was aging. And because David was right, you know, this may be a good way to get into that, and it is. I think not lately, but just all my life, you know, I've always thought about aging, and I feel like the more I speak out loud my actual age when people ask, just because I got this new job, this second job, and people are starting to like kind of like come by me and be like, hey, what's up, like where are you from, what are you into, all this stuff, right? And then like this one girl was like, so did you just graduate high school or you just start college or something? And I was just like, I looked at one of the stock guys because I had just told him like how old I was, and that stock guy's like 21, 20. And he like laughed, right? And I laughed too, right? And I was like, nah, I'm 27. And she was like, no, no way. And I'm like, I mean, yeah, I'm 27, right? And she's like, I'm like, it's probably the mask. You can't tell. And I put the mask down. She was like, nah, you just look. She's like, you still look like 20 with a beard. Like, and I was like, I don't think so. But like, it's just like it's weird because like the time I spent with like a specific company that we know, it's like I've been there 5 years. I started when I was 21, going on 22. I'm 27 now, and it doesn't feel like inside that I'm close to 30, right? And like not that I'm afraid of it, but I'm just like acknowledging the idea that like I have this like imposter syndrome inside me, or like inside I feel like a child, legit like a child, and that people see me that way, but I'm this grown ass, huge ass fucking man. And I don't know, I have this weird feeling inside. And the only time I get out of that feeling is when like I legit look into a mirror. Like if I'm washing my hands, I'm in the restroom or something, or like something like that. I look into the mirror and I'm like, oh shit, like I'm fucking, this has happened like throughout my whole life. Like when I was 18, I felt like I was 10 or something still, like child mentality. When I was 21, able to like drink legally and stuff, like I was 15 or something. Now that I'm like 27, I feel like I'm like 18, 19 or something. Like it's just weird. I have this weird offset thing in my head, and I sometimes I want to chalk it up to that like I don't have like very big responsibility in my life. I had never put myself in the position of having some like assets, like being a home or like a car note or something, like, you know, something important like that. That I would feel like is important as you're growing into adulthood. But I also like choose not to because I'm not really interested in money that way, even though I know I need it when I need it, and I have to fucking, it sucks ass to like work for it when I have to have it because I'm in debts and shit. But like, I don't know, that's just like what I've been going through in my head, and like wanted to see what y'all's perspective was. Like if you feel the same way with like imposter syndrome, do you feel like you're not the age you are? Maybe not physically, but just like mentally, emotionally. Is that something y'all deal with?
100% every
Yeah.
single day. and I think I've shared with you privately and off air like how I feel like a man child. I'm telling you, I've been the same person I was when I was like 20 years old. So I'm still like fart jokes still make me laugh. I love video games. Like that's how I spend my free time. That's how I've never been much of a drinker or like anything like that. So like I'm the same person, and I don't feel like an adult, other than having a mortgage, having a car payment that responsible for, and paying utilities and all that stuff. Like that makes me an adult, but I don't feel like an adult at all. And it's something that I had read an article about them saying like how like the younger generations, and I'll say like anybody below the age of 30. Sorry to I'm not attacking you all, but it's like they're saying like they're not buying houses. They're getting into apartments, and they don't want to be strapped down to one area. So that's why they're not buying houses. So they're like, okay, if I have an apartment, I can get a job in California or across country just to help fit their needs or whatever they want to like aspire for at that point. Because they're saying a lot of the younger generation is not goal inspired. They're more like they're dream chasers. They have an idea of what they're worth and what they need, what they feel like they need to do to get what they want. And a lot of them are falling flat, and that's why they're saying that there might be another crash with the houses because nobody's buying houses, which is completely ironic because it's their houses are selling left and right now during this economy. And yeah, man, I see how I completely relate to how you feel about yourself and like being an imposter and stuff like that. And honestly, it's kind of depressing because like I feel I'm missing out on a lot of my youth. And yeah, that I just yeah, I get it, man.
I think I feel the same way. Like I feel like a man child. Like I still play video games and stuff also. And but then I was thinking like it's something that we do to pass the time. Like I rather like play a video game or like watch YouTube or like gaming videos, like things that I enjoy rather than just sit in front of the TV, watch the news, like watch a soap opera or whatever, like quote unquote grown ups do we used to do when we were growing up, like when we didn't have so much like streaming services or whatever. Like you
Right.
just watch whatever was on TV. And about the whole like people like trying to like guess your age and giving it like I think people just group everybody that around them, like if they look like to their age. Because when I was in college, like I worked at a movie theater, and it was my junior year, so I was like 23, and then most of the people working there were like 19, 20, and there wasn't that much of a difference. But like to me, they were my age, and to them, I was their age, and I just thought thought that was funny because you try to group people like that, and it's happened to me too. Like I feel like I look old sometimes, but then other times I went to HEB and I was gonna buy beer, and I went to the self checkout, and there's like that one attendant there, and she's like, "Oh, can I see your ID?" And I was like, "Oh man, I'm almost 30, and I'm still getting carded." And she's like, "What? You're not 30?" And I showed her my ID. She's like, "Oh yeah, you are almost 30." He's like, "You look like you're 18." I was like, "What the fuck are you talking about?" Like um, because I see myself older than I am, and I feel older than I am, but I don't know. I'm just going around in circles in my head, like. Sometimes and sometimes when people are like, "Oh, I forgot how old I was," like I was like, how can you forget how old you are?" But then there's times where people at the store have asked me like, "Oh, how old are you?" And I'm just like, hold on, give me a second, let me figure it out."
That's a good problem to have, man. Like getting mistaken for younger, because I honestly haven't been mistaken to be younger since I was like 28, 29. After that, they were like, "Oh, you're older, right?" I'm like, Jesus Christ, like, what are y'all talking about?
Also, like, it's not like I only get experiences of just like, there's no way you're that old. You look younger. Like, I also have like, there's younger kids who call me sir, which not that I even tell people who probably my age sir. You know what I mean? But it's like, it's not even a form of like I'm trying to age you. It's just more like I don't know what to say in this moment right now. And so that could probably be the same thing. But I do get that, and I'm like, oh shit, like, I do realize I also look older, and I am older. You know what I mean?
I think it's also like the way you carry yourself, like with other people, like as far as like them thinking about maturity like coming with age, like supposedly. So if you're like a little bit more whimsical or whatever, like they would think you're a little younger, or if you're just serious all the time and you have your stuff together, and like they would probably think you're a little bit more mature, so therefore you're a little bit older.
Yeah, hiring all these kids that have like birth years that are like 2003 scares the shit out of me, like legit, because it really messes with my head. They're like, oh yeah, no, I just turned 18 and my birth year is 2003. I'm like, oh my god, panic attack. Like it's a nightmare, man.
So I was just gonna go into a tangent earlier when you said about like this article that we were reading of like younger people like doing this thing of not goal oriented or whatever, but like I don't really like that. But like I know it's just an article, right? But like I also do see that like through also I've seen this through TikTok only, but like I feel like there's this weird uprising that I don't think will develop into anything, but an uprising of people who are just like I don't want to do shit. Like I don't want to work. I don't want to make shit. I don't want to sell you my next fucking single release. I don't want you to subscribe to my whatever the fuck. I don't want you to do anything for me. Like they're putting that out, you know, but also it's kind of contradictory because it's like they're putting it out on a social media platform to get likes and follows. And it's like, but the idea of this is that like they just want to just have something be something, or like have like land or something and like just kind of live and like that's it. And like that's kind of cool to me that like, you know, I don't have to play whatever game. Like I recently a while back I was like I formed it into some words where I was like, what's better, you know, working a corporate 9 to 5 job full time and making money from that but being miserable, or buying into the same capitalistic nature to try to sell myself as a brand and make money that way. Like which is the right, you know, which is the right way. Like I'm gonna have to treat the thing that I love as a business, or I'm just gonna have to work for a business. You know what I mean? Like it's fucking weird. It's like a weird ultimatum thing that I've had to myself, and I'm like, what, you know? And I'm just I slowly see myself just like I'm just gonna buy my camera shit and like take photos for myself for all myself that I have because I'm fucking crazy, or myself, you know what I mean? Like take photos and shit. Like that's lately what I've been like focused on and like teetering on of like I really love photography, you know what I mean? Really like diving deeper into that. And like I don't know, I guess that's what I was gonna go into a tangent of like younger and younger people are just more like detaching themselves from norm of like entertainment and fucking all dude just like it's fucking weird, man. Like how every fucking day is just advertisement, sponsored ad, influencer person, this, like this person did this, look what they're doing. Who might do this next? Like who's the next fucking sexy person? Who are we gonna burn at the stake? Like who are, you know, it's just so much fucking shit all the time, just saturation of information and drama. It's just like holy fuck, dude, how much longer is this going for? Like what's the next evolution of this? You know, it's fucking weird.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Alex, like I think you are the exception in my eyes because like of all the people that I know around your age, I think you're the exception because like you don't need money, but you have to work for money, right? So like you would be happy, dude. If I know you, if you could go live in like the woods or whatever and just take
Yeah.
pictures and make music and stuff like that and not have to worry about money, you'd be happy. And not a lot of people like you shared the other day about having family members that are like polar opposites. One did the whole career thing and the other one went and did like wildlife stuff. And you said
Yeah.
that
Oh
one's
yeah, yeah.
happier than the other. And it's like I see a lot of parallels with you and that other relative that like you don't need like the house that this article was talking about. You don't need any of that. And I see it in you. Like you've always been that free spirit. Like you need to like have like grow your hair out again and put like feathers in it and shit. Because like
Yeah.
you're like one with like I wouldn't doubt that like you have like 2% like stardust in your like DNA or something like that. Because like you're so
Stardust smoke.
connected to like the earth and it's awesome. But like I just like other people will not compromise and you're one of those people. Like I asked you all last week, like, do you all want to have a house like at some point? And Fernie said yes. Whether or not it's here or whatever, like that's different. But a lot of people are just settling for apartments and just like, all right, I'll fucking move when if I need to. And
Yeah,
yeah,
and I think, and And I think with the article, I haven't read it, so I don't know what it said. But I think what it misses also is that because we live such in a capitalistic society, like I said, like yes, it gives them the more freedom to move around from like gig to gig or whatever. But it's also, I don't know, like I can't afford a house, and I don't think I'm in a bad like salary position right now, but I still can't afford this shit. So I think it just has to deal also with like circumstances of the people in certain areas, whatever. Like like nothing pisses me off more than like and 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 it's because of jealousy. Like it's not nothing that they're doing wrong. Like they were born with this, but like rich kid TikTok or like rich kid Instagram where they're just like 16, 17 with Lamborghinis and like they're taking pictures in big ass in front of their big ass mansions, like or like at their yachts or whatever the fuck. I'm just like, you are living a life that I would never experience. And I'm okay with that, but it's also like you don't know how good you have it. And or maybe they do, I don't know. But it's just a jealousy thing. Like I'm just like, why how did this happen to this person and then other people are just, with really less. If that makes any
Yeah.
sense. I don't know. And with aging, like it does scare me because I have been like having this existential crisis sometimes where I'm at work and I go to the food court or whatever and I see like these like older people like working, you know,
Yeah.
janitorial jobs, and it's like it's nothing
Yeah.
wrong with that, but
Right.
but it reminds me that I'm gonna have to work until I'm old to survive, to live. Like
Yeah.
work is never gonna stop. Uh, and I think I've said it
Only 40 more
before.
years.
I think I said it before, like when my little sister Abigail, she had finished school for summer, like last school year, and she's like, "Oh, I'm done with school," and I was like, "Oh, that's really good." Like, she's like, "Yeah." I was like, she's like, "Are you done with work?" And I was like, "Oh no."
Yeah, dude. Like it's literally with my niece for so much of her life. Like when she was small, she'd always be asking, spend some time with her, and then I'd be leaving right all the time. She'd always be like, "Tío, where you going? Like, where you? Well, ¿dónde vas, tío?" And I'm like, "Oh, tengo que ir a trabajar. I gotta go to work." Like, dude, and like she'll visit now, and I'm hanging out with them a little bit, and I'm like, "All right, guys, I'm taking off." And she's like, "Where you going, Alex?" And I'm like, "I gotta go to work." And she's like, "Still?" I'm like, "Dude, yes, yes, I have to go to work still." Fuck.
She has no idea. No idea. Well, I mean,
Legit.
like you all were saying, like the article, I didn't mean to offend you all, but
Oh no no.
and I'll send it
No,
to
no, I
y'all.
just wanted to.
It's just there's also a certain mindset that's being I don't know it's bad because it makes like the millennial generation. I know I'm a millennial by a year or whatever, but it's showing that they feel underappreciated, undervalued, and like so they asked them like, okay, why aren't you all doing this? Why aren't you all buying houses? Why aren't you all having kids? Why aren't you all doing? And they're like, because they feel like they need to get paid more, um, like a career salary to do like an entry level job. They feel like and it's just like it sounds like it's entitlement. Like they feel like they're entitled to having like that lavish life, the yacht and all that stuff, and it's like, but they don't know how to get there. And um,
I might
that's
just
just
push.
my thing.
Yeah, I might just push back on that, and it's I don't know if you're the one making like that point, but uh, I think I mean I don't want a yacht. I just want to be able to afford a house, and I'm pretty sure other people would feel the same way, as far as like, oh, you're just working this like entry level job, but you want $15 an hour. It's like yes, because the way that everything that like inflation and economics has been going, like I think it was like people need to be paid like $22 an hour to like keep up with inflation, and
That
like
didn't happen.
yeah, and it's like yes, like people wanna be like, oh, you don't deserve this money for doing the job. Like okay, fine, like that's your opinion, but also like if things were to stay the same as when boomers were still like younger, where they can buy a house for like $400 and start a career, like then I wouldn't complain either. Like
Right, like it's like okay, you're gonna raise the cost of living, but not raise the wage. Like,
mhm.
how does that make sense?
Yeah.
But
And
also I think we also have to think about within this cost of living at this specific time, what were entry level jobs? I feel like it was a lot more manufacturing. It was a lot
yeah.
more hard
Yeah.
labor compared to this convenience of fast food and retail
Yeah.
and things like that. So there's two sides to this whole thing, but still, I think if there is a higher cost of living, or if it increases, the wage should slowly be behind that. It shouldn't be this massive gap. I don't think.
Yeah. Yeah, and I'm not saying like, like what you're saying earlier about like manufacturing and like fast food. I'm not comparing the two either. But um and I feel like the pandemic kind of showed people like, or it should have showed big corporations like, without your workforce, no matter what you do, you have nothing. So you need these people to want to work your jobs. And then when they're like, people are like saying like, oh, there's a labor shortage because nobody wants to work anymore. And it's like, people are just moving to better jobs that you said before, like, oh, you want $50 an hour, get a better job. And they're like, okay, maybe I have I have the time to do that now. Or people are realizing like, I should go to a quote unquote better job to get paid better. And then nobody wants to do the crappy jobs anymore because you've told them before you don't deserve money because you're working a crappy job.
Depends on the corporation.
Yeah, obviously, yeah. But for the most part, I think I don't know. I hate these kind of articles because it's usually written by like a fucking boomer that'll just like, oh, the younger generation is just entitled, and we did it the correct way. We woke up at 6 a.m. and went home at 7 p.m. and did all the right stuff.
I also just want to say one last thing before if we move to something, but like I guess a little also going back, it ties into this too, but like going back to the aging thing and like as you grow older, whatever the fuck. But at the end of all that, like it's literally the idea of my thoughts, me thinking about what people think of me. You know what I mean? And like
Yeah,
that's just so like unrealistic because in reality, nobody really fucking cares. And social media is literally just different people thinking about what others think of them. You know what I mean? And it's just like an influx of this entire thing of that basis, and it's just like it's fucking insane how powerful something like that could be. Of like you'll change yourself and the things you want and your perspective just to be accepted by somebody that you don't even know or doesn't even like you. You know what I mean? Like it's fucking weird. Like I guess for me that's like that was the ultimate thing that I wanted to take away or add to this. Like I tend to fucking think way too much about what others think of me, and like I hate that. Even though like I know we have to, engage with humans. Like it's just like in our fucking DNA to like want to interact and have company. Because I honestly can't just imagine forever just being by myself. Like I have to have some type of interaction with another person. I can acknowledge that. Like I'm not that selfish that way.
yeah. Hey, but we're gonna have AI pretty soon, so you're gonna be able to talk to your computer.
Dude, I'm down. Like her, fuck yeah,
Yeah.
I'm down. Yeah, have a little earpiece in the ear like Fernie in the stock room. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, I'm gonna have like that Scarlett Johansson voice in my ear. Oh, I'm gonna be walking.
Well,
I'm gonna be walking hard. You know what I'm saying?
well,
Nice.
if you're listening to us in your ear right now, thanks for listening to the podcast. This was the Life and Death podcast. I hope you enjoyed this episode. We're gonna wrap it up right here and let us know what you think about aging and you growing old with us in your ear. Stupid. But thanks for listening to the podcast. Make sure to check us out on YouTube. Search up Life and Death Podcast on YouTube. Check us out on Spotify or iTunes, wherever you might listen to your podcast. Look up Laugh and Death. And check us out on Instagram at Laugh and Death Podcast. And yeah, thanks for listening to another episode. I'm Alex.
Vern.
I'm Dave.
And we'll catch you on the next episode.